Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope everybody had a good Christmas, good holiday season. Today I will be bringing you my beginnings of the Killing Floor guide on Steam. My Spelunky guide did pretty well, and I'm really enjoying this game, so I've decided to, as I build my skills in this game, to show some of the strategies that I find that are consistent and effective. Now, if you're new to Killing Floor, oh, you're missing out on a treat. This game is a co-op. It's meant to be played co-op, but it can be played solo, as I'm going to show you here. But first, I'm going to run down some of the classes here. Field Medic, obviously stands for itself. You got your faster healing syringes, and you start with body armor once you level up to level 6. All my guys are at level 6. I had to grind to get this. It was a long time, but it was worth it because when you grind up to level 6, you have special things you spawn with that you're like bread and butter for each class. Like, for example, the sharpshooter will have his crossbow, or the commando will have an AK-47. And in the higher difficulties, it really is vital to spawn with your bread and butter because the difficulties are just insane. The enemies are just relentless, and you're going to need all the help you can get. If you're playing solo, though, unless you are an absolute god at the game, you better be playing the Berserker class for 99% of the time. The Berserker class is pretty much the only way to survive in Killing Floor solo that I've seen. I'm sure there are players out there that are just absolutely god at the game and can do it with any class, but I'm still learning, so I'm going to go Berserker exclusively if I'm going solo. If you're playing co-op, it just depends on your playstyle. The support specialist, he specializes in shotguns. The commando is machine guns. Berserker's melee weapons. You got your firebug with your flame-based weapons, flamethrowers. And demolitions is the only other class I switched to at the end of each game because against the boss, the Patriarch, it's the most effective class to play as. You can lay pipes and shoot him with rockets. It's just a lot easier to kill him. So every time I get to the boss waves solo, I always switch to demos. Or hell, if I'm even playing co-op, I go demo always in the final wave. Each class has specific advantages, but they also have specific disadvantages. I like Sharpshooter, but you're at such a disadvantage on the smaller enemies. But on the bigger enemies, you're able to take them out very easily with your crossbow on the lower difficulties. Even on the higher difficulties, you can still take a flesh pound out with like 2 or 3 shots with a level 6 sharpshooter. But Commando specializes in the smaller enemies, but he sucks at the big enemies. So it's like you pick your poison, whatever you want. The Berserker class, however, you move the fastest. You can't be grabbed by the small clots, which are the most annoying enemies in the game because they just stun you and you just can't move until you kill them. But on Berserker class, you're immune to that annoyance there. If you're a guy that loves to go in guns a-blazing, full force in your face, then the Support Specialist is for you. This class is very good. If you can carry the most items, so you can have like a variety of items from different classes. But the huge disadvantage to the Support class is the massive reloading times in the shotguns. And by the time you do that, you're going to get crushed by some enemy flying over your head or dropping on your head. They spawn from everywhere in this game. You always got to keep on the move if you're not playing with a team. It's recommended to play to your class's strengths. Support Specialist is a very good class, though, if you love shotguns. Commando is, like I said, the machine guns. Firebug is good for dwindling down health. It's mainly a support kind of class when you're playing co-op. Not really recommended solo. And of course, demo is for the big boys, the big enemies, especially the Patriarch, like I said before. But you're just going to have to play around with it, find out what you like the best, what is your play style, and just try to get better at that particular class. Level up whatever class you think it would be best for you. Now, Steam Workshop has a lot of good things in it, specifically a map that is very, very useful to level up quickly and effectively for whatever class you want to play as. Now, this is looked down upon Sometimes some people don't like it when you power level. They say you're noob and you can't, you know, they see your high rank and they think you're good at the game, but if you just power level to get, you know, the best stuff and have the best chance to get into the game, they look down on it. A lot of people do. I've seen multiple times where people are like, "Oh, he's a noob. He's a level 6, but he just cheated or whatever." The power leveling is well within the confines of the game. It's not cheating. It's not hacking in any way. You're just leveling up your guy. It takes a lot of hours to grind, but I've condensed it into a very short time period compared to what it would be. So if you're gonna hate on me, go ahead, because I power leveled the shit out of this game. You want to give yourself the best chance in this game because it's already extremely brutal as it is. So you want to give yourself the best opportunity to succeed in this game, and power leveling your classes is the first step. Now, there are two basic strategies when you're going solo in Killing Floor. You have either the camping method or the kiting method. Kiting takes a lot of skill and a lot of good movement, and knowledge of the map is crucial. I've been playing Santa's Evil Lair quite frequently, and I've pretty much memorized the entire layout of this place. So even if my original path, kiting path, is blocked off in a way, I can take alternate branching paths that will lead me back toward my initial path. And this is the kind of knowledge of each map you're going to have if you're going to go solo and do the kiting method. Some maps are not built for kiting, however. Some are better to just camp. The enclosed areas, you're just going to have better weapons. In this particular case, on this run, I just went completely berserk and just got melee weapons. I didn't get any pistols, no rifles, no nothing. I just went all melee weapons. Melee weapons on Berserker is very effective, even on flesh pounds and husks. Everything else, as I'll show you as I get through. I'm not going to do the whole thing because it would just take too long, but here's the original kiting path right here. You start off at the spawn. Perhaps I should tell you what actually kiting is. Kiting is essentially just running a circle around the map and getting enemies to spawn behind you and not in front of you. It kind of like Call of Duty Zombies. If you guys have played Call of Duty Zombies, you would run around a circle around the map to get the zombies in an area where you could deal with them. And the same thing applies here. The same strategy applies, except it's just it's just like Call of Duty Zombies, man. You get stopped a few times and then you're dead, especially on the higher difficulty. I'm going to run down the enemies. This is a husk. He's a snowman right now because of the Christmas event. They'll fire rockets at you. You can jump over them. You can actually listen for the rockets and just time your jump to... These are stalkers. These invisible bitches, man. They'll sneak up on you and just claw at you. Commandos can see them, but Berserker can't. You can just see the little Predator a la Predator cloaking device they have. Those big boomer Santa Claus things, those are bloats. They'll puke on you. Now, you can take this path that I'm taking. It's a very good path. I looked it up online. I'll have the link to the guy's video because I don't take credit for anything I didn't find myself. But this is a very good path. But I have also did alternations for it. There's different paths you can take, especially if this, like I said before, you're not always going to have clear sailing. The quantity of enemies increase and as you get further in the waves, and sometimes your path is going to be completely blocked off, and you have no choice but to deviate from the path. So, but here's where I like to camp, get them lined up. This is probably the safest place in Santa's Secret Lair, but you can't stay here can't get greedy in this game. You have to know when the hell to get out of here. Like, you don't want to get, take a damage from one thing and then another, and then all the time you're dead. You just got to kind of pick. It's kind of like a timing thing, like a quarterback in the pocket. Like, you got to know, okay, I only got X amount of seconds to get rid of the damn football or I'm going to get sacked. Same thing in this game. You have to know, okay, I'm going to stay here and kill some enemies as they get behind me, but you can't get greedy. You have to know when to just go, when to just run away. Your movement doesn't need to be jeopardized in this method because your movement is all you have to survive. I've gotten greedy, and I'm going to show you at the end where it got me killed. I got to the end of this on Suicidal. This is Suicidal difficulty. So it's one step below the hardest in the game, which is Hell on Earth, which I'm not going to go for that just yet. You want to see an annoying enemy? Oh my God, these gingerbread cookies, which they are in the Christmas event, but they're called gore fasts. These these guys will sneak up on you, and before you know it, you'll be dead. Even on the lower difficulties, these guys cause massive damage. You'll hear them talking on the Christmas event. I'm not sure if what they say otherwise, but here they'll say something like, I won't bite, or cholesterol doesn't kill, I do. If you hear these things, you know they're closing on you fast, and they have exceptional speed, and there's one right here. Very careful with these guys. Always use alternate fire on your melee weapon. I'm using X-Patter. I don't like using the keyboard and mouse. I find controllers to be easier for me. I mean, I have a very good setup that I think is it works really well for me. I'm able to switch my weapons very quickly, heal myself quickly, all that stuff. I'm going to go more in depth later on. This is just an introduction to the game. I just, kind of like what I did with Spelunky, just give you a little rundown of a little bit of everything, little pieces of it at first, and then I'll break down stuff in more detail later as I get better at the game. I'm still learning in this game. I'm not the best, but I'm going to get better. I'm almost beat a map by myself on Suicidal, so I think that's got to count for something. But my plans are, I intend to do every map on this game, have it just show you the kiting path and the alternate paths that I find consistent for each map. So Santa's Secret Lair or Evil Lair will be the first map that I break down, but not in this video. This is just a quick tutorial, even though it's like 12 minutes already, so I'm going to end it pretty soon. Just to show you, this is why you don't get greedy. Look at me, I'm on the final wave of this thing, and I get greedy, and it costs me. You got to know when to get out. Like I said, they will spawn. If you spend too much time in one spot, and all the enemies haven't spawned yet, they'll spawn behind you, cause you problems on the staircase right there. This is which eventually gets me killed in this level, in this wave, and I'll show you in a second. I'm just going to let it play out, but you can't get greedy. If I had to make rules for like a top 5 rule, that would be the #1 thing besides keep moving. You have to know when to get out. You can't get greedy, especially on the higher level, the higher waves, because more enemies will spawn, and before you know it, a stalker spawn behind you and hurt you, and then a crawler jumps on you and hurts you, and then it just escalates, but before you know it, you're dead. Especially when the really hard enemies come that dole out massive damage. The flesh pounds. These guys, you better fear these guys more than anything besides the Patriarch. They will destroy you quickly. Oh man, you have to run from them. But a Scrake is actually what kills me here, and these guys can be meleeed pretty easily with the Claymore sword, which I have here. And I'm going to break all this down later. I'm just, like I said, I'm not going to explain everything in detail in this video. But I think my death is coming up pretty soon here. These little reindeers, these are the crawlers. They'll jump at you. I like to let them jump to kind of get a little bit of spacing, lure them to jump at me, and then I slice them. Sometimes you'll want to use your primary fire for a weapon, and sometimes you'll want to use alt fire. Alt fire for my Claymore is what I use against the Gorefast, this gingerbread cookies. And the primary one I use against the little crawlers. Now here's my demise here. I got a little greedy, and you see how they spawn behind me here, and this is what happens. The Scrake here, he held me up, and when you get held up in this game, that's why you die. That's why you got to make sure you're not greedy.